Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of our series called Transfer Trial, where we go to and try new players that have signed for new clubs, and today we'll be looking at Southampton, who have signed YOSHIDA, STEKELENBURG, and CEDRIC. And this episode we're actually talking about Fabian Delph also, so if you want to skip over what we're talking about Southampton, I'll put an on-screen, I'll put an on-screen text that'll show you the minute and seconds to go to if you want to hear the part about about Fabian Delph. And if you don't want to hear that, then just keep on watching. And sorry I did not upload for the past 2 days actually. Yesterday it was actually Eid and I celebrate that, so if you do celebrate that also, Eid Mubarak to you, but it's a very family oriented holiday, so I didn't want to play Xbox that much, or I didn't want to record any videos and commentate and anything, so I took the day off the other day and I just wanted to, spend some time with my family because that's really important. But let's talk more about the episode. So the first player we're looking at is Martin Stekelenburg, who has signed from a season-long loan, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's official, from Monaco. And I think the main reason why they signed Stekelenburg is because, as you all know, Fraser Forster, their #1 keeper, who was very good last season, actually tore his ACL, which is a pretty serious injury towards the end of the year. So they had to use their #2 towards the end of the season last year. And I think they want to have a good backup keeper to have until Forster comes back into the team, because Stekelenburg is a pretty good keeper. He's not amazing, but to have him as a backup until Forster comes back is really good, considering that they are competing in the Europa League for the first time in the club's history, and also they're probably pushing to fight for like the top 6 next season. So to have a rotation keeper like Stekelenburg, that'll be very good. And also, if you bring in players like for competition into a team, it can also make the other players play better. Like for example, when Chelsea brought in Juan Cuadrado, Willian started playing lights out. He was playing absolutely amazingly. So maybe if Stekelenburg comes in, it will drive either Stekelenburg to be very good or Fraser Forster to be really good. But the other player we're talking about is CEDRIC at right back, a very solid signing from Sporting Lisbon, I'm pretty sure. And they brought him in because obviously Nathaniel Klein went to Liverpool, and he's a very solid player. I expect him to do really well in the Premier League. And the last player we're talking about is YOSHIDA, who is signed from Feyenoord in the Eredivisie. And I think he's going to be a really great player for Southampton. I feel like Southampton, they are a club that always makes signings that you're like, what is that name? Like, or like they're very like low-key names, low-key, but they perform very well. Like last year, when they sold pretty much half of their lineup, they still brought in players like Dusan Tadic and Graziano Pelle, and they performed absolutely like no one expected them to. And this is the reason why they're doing such a great job right now in the Premier League, when no one really expected them to, after selling key players in their starting lineup like Lovren. Because even though Lovren, people thought he was bad at Liverpool, I mean, he was pretty bad. He was very good at Southampton. He was a very important part of their team. And speaking of Southampton, they have lost a key part of their team in Schneiderlin. If you guys want to see an episode about Manchester United again, just let me know in the comments down below. And he actually scored on their first preseason game. I think it was a header. It was a very good header, actually. It was looping into the bottom right net. But this team was definitely the worst team I've played with so far. They just don't have many like FIFA-friendly players. The only FIFA-friendly player they have is Shane Long, pretty much, and he was the best player in this team by far, for sure. He was very good. He, as you can see here, he just has very good dribbling, and for a non-rare card, he just has very good stats overall. But the team was just frustrating overall with players like Graziano Pelle, who are just very lethargic on the ball. And as I say that, he gets some nice dribbling there and scores a goal. And I just would not suggest making that team. It was just very hard to play with, but they play really well in real life. Just on FIFA, they don't have the best cards. And to move on to the next topic, we're talking about Fabian Delph, who has signed from Aston Villa, their captain, to Manchester City. And this signing actually had a lot of drama around it. If you haven't heard about it, I will talk about it right now. I took a screenshot on my phone, and this was a link from Aston Villa's official Twitter that had a statement about Delph when he said, when there was rumors about him a week before him signing for City, that he would leave. And it's pretty much him saying, I'll read this right here, "I'm not leaving, I'm staying at the football club, and I can't wait for the start of the season and captaining the great football club," and referring to Aston Villa. And he was even pictured in like their kits for the 2015-2016 season. He's wearing the captain's armband because he is their captain. And then a week later hits, and he is pictured walking into Man City's like facility, I guess, and he's getting a physical there, a medical, to make sure he can complete the move to Manchester City. And I remember when this picture actually got released, like a ton of Twitter accounts were tweeting it. I remember a ton of people were like, that surely has to be photoshopped, that cannot be real. It's just a ton of people like trolling people. But then a couple hours later, in Manchester City tweet, we have signed Fabian Delph. And for Manchester City, this is a really good signing for them, because Delph has, I'm sure he thinks to himself that he can possibly displace Fernandinho or another midfielder like Yaya Toure when he leaves. And he's an English player, which really helps because they obviously have some homegrown problems. But with signings like Sterling and Delph, they're obviously not going to have that many problems in the future. And it goes back to what I brought up in a previous episode about players moving, and it questions whether players actually move it questions if players are more motivated by money now or by the game, because it seems like a lot of players are moving just to play at a better club, even if they're not guaranteed playing time. But that is going to end this episode of Transfer Trial, a double we have with Fabian Delph and Southampton. If you liked it, please drop a like, share this video with your friends, subscribe if you're new, and please share it with your friends, because I want to see this channel grow, and I want to see as many people watching my videos as possible. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Transfer Trial.